Hi, welcome to your astrology forecast for April 30th to May 6th, 2015. On April 30th, the moon moves into Libra. This is going to help us to tune into our relationships more and connect deeper on a more emotional level in one-on-one situations. So it's a good day for being there for somebody else, as well as giving very objective and unbiased feedback on whatever they're going through, or whatever, or even being more open about your own feelings with somebody else as well. And it's just great for really understanding things in a more unbiased way, where you are weighing out your options more, looking at both sides of the picture, and maybe even doing like a pros and cons list. And then Mercury moves into Gemini. So this is going to be amplifying our communication because Mercury rules Gemini. And we may be learning new things, many random facts, and going like brushing through information and much information. And so it might be more fun to communicate about this new information that you're learning, and also communicate with people that you run into around your neighborhood, or going to the store or whatever. And it's good for meeting new people because of that. But most conversations won't go to a very deep level. They'll be at a very surfacey and somewhat more lighthearted and fun, witty kind of level. But it should be fun nonetheless to communicate with others and communicate on the phone and have, good conversation. And then on May 1st, the Sun in Taurus sextiles Neptune in Pisces, and they both in conjunct the Moon in Libra, which conjuncts the North Node, and those are of course opposing the South Node in Aries, creating a boomerang yod. So, with the Sun in Taurus sextile Neptune in Pisces, this has been helping us to really uncover what is going on with us under the surface when it comes to how we're feeling about ourselves and our self-worth. So digging deeper into yourself and understanding that and that aspect of yourself, and feeling into the parts where maybe you aren't feeling so good, can actually help you to heal or release some of those self-worth issues, and help to clear the way for more receiving of abundance potentially. So, and with them in conjunct the Moon in Libra conjunct the North Node, this is going to be good for really expressing how you're feeling in your relationships, and helping your relationships to get on board with what's been going on under the surface, so that it can get to a more evolved state and a more understanding state. Maybe one person has been feeling kind of down, and so the other person can help them to look at these things more objectively. So you could be the person who's been feeling down, or you could be the person that's there for the other person. With the South Node involved, this is really also contributing to understanding how you've been feeling about yourself, and looking at what behaviors or ways of being that you need to let go of, so that you can feel good about yourself and that you can feel more in alignment with yourself. And then the Moon in Libra opposes Uranus and Aries, and they both square Pluto in Capricorn, creating a T-square. So the Moon in Libra opposing Uranus and Aries is going to bring up some tensions in relationships, and you're going to want to really just be yourself, and want to really just break free and express that part of you that is so uniquely you. And yet it can be maybe a little bit offbeat at times, or eccentric in some ways. And with the Moon in Libra opposing that, you might even be feeling somewhat self-conscious about what other people are thinking of you, or potentially your partner will feel like you're being weird, or you'll just be feeling like you aren't feeling like you're able to just be that part of you that you are, I guess. And then squaring Pluto in Capricorn. I keep saying the Pluto. Pluto in Capricorn is really bringing up a lot of things that are deep, unconscious, and deeply needing to change. Any sickness inside of how, you know, our world is functioning in terms of like people who are in authority, people who are, you know, who created these systems, the system itself, and even business practices. All of these things are really being revealed right now. There's a lot of deep layers that we have to uncover, especially with it being retrograde right now. And there's a lot of uncovering happening and a need for change and transformation and for more light than ever to shine in those areas. And so this is bringing up tensions generally with how we are and how our relationships are. For you know, and you can look at however relationships play into what's going on with your career, perhaps, or what's going on with how you feel about authority figures. And you know, they seem unrelated, but there is kind of a dynamic there happening. So these are going to be brought up again. This Uranus Pluto square is still like it's still interacting, you know. Even though the exact square is over, there's, you know, still some tensions happening. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, however that plays into your life is going to be being brought up once more, and more light than ever will need to be shown in those areas, especially wherever Capricorn is in your chart, you will notice, and maybe a lot of changes in how you do things, the like new systems that you have to create so that you're doing it in a better way, or new ways of doing it generally in any way. But right now it's mostly just revealing those things so that you can understand what needs to change. Okay. And then on May 2nd, Mars and Taurus sextiles Chiron and Pisces, and they both in conjunct the moon in Libra, creating another yod. Mars and Taurus can help you to take more actions when it comes to taking care of your money. So Chiron is maybe holding you back from being able to do that because it needs you to look at what needs to be confronted in terms of how you're feeling about money. And I know there's a lot of, you know, different things about money going on, and I can totally understand why people are feeling conflicted about it. And so looking at those and looking at how you really feel about yourself and self-worth, and whether you're, you know, in alignment with money or if you're not in alignment with money, and kind of looking at all that is going to happen. And with them in conjunct the moon in Libra, this of course is going to be a need to maybe look at another point of view in the whole grand scheme of things. And so it also could, you know, bring your relationships into play, and a need to express how you're feeling about those things, and how you're feeling about old wounds and self-worth issues, and also money in your relationships. You could communicate with somebody else on that in a one-on-one situation, and that could help you to really get another point of view as well. And then the moon moves into Scorpio. So this is bringing up a lot of deep and unconscious feelings, and you'll need to transform them. And this actually might help in the transformation process of all these other things happening. You know, self-worth things and money things. And Scorpio does rule other people's money, so there could even be something around, you know, borrowing money that you need to address. Or it's also going to just help you to tune into the deeper parts of yourself so that you can become aware of those parts of yourself, and also become aware of what it is you desire and what it is you fear, so that you can transform that or act on that in terms of desires, perhaps. Of course, you know, certain desires can be negative, so you want to watch out for self-sabotage as well. And then on May 3rd, Mercury in Gemini opposes Saturn in Sagittarius. So this really brings about maybe some blockages when it comes to talking about your beliefs, or, even you might have like kind of a weight of responsibility around learning or around your beliefs potentially. And travel is not necessarily advised on this day, but there could be a lot of talk of travel, but in a way where there's some amount of responsibility felt around that talk of travel. So maybe you'll have to either travel for business, or maybe you're just feeling kind of a weighty feeling around wanting to travel, or maybe like an urge to travel, but you feel like you have so many responsibilities you have to take care of, or something of that nature. Okay, and also on May 3rd, there is both a cradle and a T-square being formed within the full moon in Scorpio. So the sun in Taurus, opposing the moon in Scorpio, right? Okay. The moon in Scorpio sextiles Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto in Capricorn sextiles Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces sextiles the sun in Taurus. And then the sun in Taurus trines Pluto in Capricorn. And then the moon in Scorpio trines Neptune in Pisces, basically creating a cradle. So with a cradle, there is a tendency to kind of want to take the easy way out. You want to kind of stay within those sextiles and trines. You don't really want to go towards opposition. So there may be a sense of avoidance through deeper reflection. So maybe we've been focusing a little too much on the deeper reflection, and now it's kind of time with that T-square to Jupiter in Leo, being formed with the moon in Taurus moon in Scorpio and sun in Taurus. So there's a T-square on the exact opposite end of that. So there's a lot of deeper reflection happening right now. I mean, Pluto is revealing things. Neptune's helping us to tune into our intuition more. And, the sun in Taurus is having us focus on finances, and the moon in Scorpio is having us reflect on our deeper selves, but also on maybe other people's money. And so now Jupiter in Leo is like, okay, let's get out of this little loop right here and let's express ourselves. Let's be more ourselves and more expansive. Like let's think outside of the box or something like that, Let's be more creative. Let's come up with a creative solution to all these issues that are happening down here. All this unconscious, authority issues, unconscious career issues, unconscious money issues. All of this stuff is just, and it's really easy to just kind of want to go within yourself and just kind of hide out. But Jupiter in Leo is really asking us to come forward and come up with a creative solution to help create more abundance, because Jupiter also can be very abundant. So anyways, that's basically what that's about. And then, of course, that it's a full moon on top of that. So, there's just a lot of tensions being brought up in terms of money and other people's money, and also like what, unconscious self-sabotage potentially, and, unconscious desires and fears that are holding us back from maybe going towards that Jupiter in Leo, because Leo doesn't really have a whole lot of fear. It's very courageous, and it's a lion. So being very expressive and being very free to be you and not being afraid to be you. And then the sun in Taurus over here is also, kind of focusing on money and self-worth and how we've been feeling about ourselves. And of course, there's that whole dance down there. So anyway, not being afraid and being willing to expand beyond your boundaries, expand beyond where you've ever gone, where no man has gone before, just not being afraid to step outside of your comfort zone, because this comfort zone is very tempting. Okay. Anyways, where am I? Okay. May 4th. The sun in Taurus squares Jupiter in Leo exactly on May 4th. So this is going to help a bit to in expanding beyond where we've been kind of focusing, expanding beyond just our self-worth and our money, and being able to focus maybe more on having a good time and nurturing our children, and being more expressive with our children, allowing our children to become more expressive, and maybe even expanding the minds of our children, or just expanding our own minds. And there could be, thoughts of travel, and the Sun in Taurus may be kind of creating more tensions there because money could be an issue. So there is that aspect of sort of a tension being brought up around that, and maybe even tension being brought up around our children. So, allow your children to be themselves, and also try not to get too caught up in feeling like you can't have a good time, I guess, because the Sun in Taurus may be making you think a little too much about money and resources. So maybe a good time to just kind of like expand your horizons a little more and come up with a creative solution to any money issues you might be having. So on May 5th, the moon moves into Sagittarius and conjunct Saturn in Sagittarius. So when the moon's in Sagittarius, we can feel more adventurous and willing to learn new things and be more philosophical about our emotions and look at things from a broader perspective and understand other cultures and look at other cultures and learn new things, basically. And with it conjunct Saturn in Sagittarius, there may be some responsibilities that get brought up and some sense of limitation in that. Maybe we feel like we can't travel. Maybe we feel like we can't seem to get beyond our own limiting beliefs that are keeping us from being able to understand other people's ideas and understand other people's philosophies. So looking deeper at what is holding you back from being able to understand a bigger picture, what's preventing you from looking beyond your own situation? What's preventing you from being able to travel? These things are going to be brought up. And so trying to dig deeper so that you can maybe let go of limitations so that you can be more expansive and worldly in your viewpoint. And then the moon in Sagittarius opposes Mercury in Gemini, and they both square Neptune in Pisces, creating a T-square. So some tensions will be brought up around illusions and beliefs, and also in conversation. So you may be conversing with somebody on this day, and when you have these conversations, Neptune could be revealing things that are illusory, or things that are, it's trying to call you into another viewpoint, call you into your imagination a little more. And what's interesting about Neptune is it's both the greater awareness of what we can't see, and it's also illusion. So we can over-idealize what we can't see, or over-idealize what we don't know consciously, or over-idealize these things generally, and put on this whole imaginary idea of what it is. And it can also help you reveal what is imaginary as well. Like, it's both kind of. It's like, there's two sides of every interpretation of these. But basically, Neptune can also help you reveal what is illusionary that you can see too. So like it calls you into another understanding almost. And it also can be very idealistic in some ways. But the moon in Sagittarius, you're going to feel into your beliefs. You're going to be kind of attached to your beliefs emotionally. So it's a good idea to open your mind. It's a good idea to be willing to understand another person's viewpoint so that you can move beyond anything that is preventing you from being able to understand something deeper or from another perspective. Because Mercury in Gemini is also in there, and there's going to be conversations bringing up these two, this whole tension here. And so, being open to another way of looking at things, it can help to reveal new things that you can so that you can let go of beliefs that are not really in alignment with truth or with even deeper understanding, even if it's not something you can see, I guess. So, all right. And then the Sun in Taurus trines Pluto in Capricorn exactly on this day as well. And this is helping us to dig deeper into ourselves and into what we value and into how we would like to be in the world, like our status, what our status is, and also how our self-worth ties into our status. And we may need to kind of look at how we look at those things in a different way, because sometimes people put too much stock into status or too much stock into outer acclaims. And it's a good idea to find your own self-worth within yourself, so that, because, no matter how many accolades you get, I think I said the wrong word earlier. Accolades, I think, is what I meant. Anyways, accolades. No matter how many of those you get, it's all about how you feel on the inside. So it's important to feel good about yourself. And Pluto is going to help you dig deeper so that you can look at yourself deeper and transform any areas that are not allowing you to feel good, like within yourself. Okay, anyway. On May 6th, the moon in Sagittarius creates a grand trine with Jupiter in Leo and Uranus in Aries. Yay! So this is fun, I mean, we're going to have more adventure, more excitement, unexpected occurrences, and just more risk-taking and expansion and ability to really be yourself and just express yourself. And you're going to be feeling more creative and more in tune with yourself and more dramatic even. And it's going to be easier to have a good time on this day. And you're going to feel a lot more fire going on. You're going to feel more action oriented. And, it's a good idea to harness this energy and put it into something creative that you wish to expand upon. So, okay, thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you very soon. Have an awesome week.